If you ever notice your vision getting blurry in the evening, or your skin feeling unusually dry, please watch this to the end. You might be telling yourself, "I'm just tired," or "it's just my age," but ignoring these signals could lead to consequences you can't undo. In fact, with the modern diet, many people are quietly missing this one essential nutrient.
Have you ever heard the story? An American scientist named Elmer McCollum was the first person to introduce rats into nutritional research instead of using cows or dogs. Small animals eat less, take up less space, breed quickly, and their diets are easy to control. But at the time, rats were considered pests by farmers. The dean of his college told him to experiment with economically valuable animals. No one understood what he was doing. So McCollum carried on his research in secret in the basement of the agriculture building. Then, in 1913, he noticed something strange. He was giving his rats the same calories and the same protein, but just by changing the type of fat in their food, the rats' fates split dramatically. Rats fed butter or egg yolk as their fat source grew up healthy, but rats fed lard or olive oil seemed fine at first, and then their growth stopped. Eventually, they died. McCollum had uncovered something crucial. There was an essential substance hidden inside butter and egg yolk, something the body couldn't live without. He named it fat-soluble A, later renamed vitamin A.
So, what happens to your body when vitamin A is missing? Let's take a closer look. Stage 1. Night blindness, the earliest sign. Remember that blurry vision in the evening I mentioned at the start? This is actually said to be one of the very first signs of vitamin A deficiency. Inside your eyes, there's a substance called rhodopsin in your retina. Rhodopsin is what allows you to see in low light. And to make rhodopsin, your body needs vitamin A. When vitamin A runs low, your body can't produce enough rhodopsin, and your eyes start struggling to adjust in dim places. You walk into a room at dusk and can't see for a few seconds. It takes forever to find your seat in a movie theater. After an oncoming car's headlights pass, your night vision doesn't bounce back. This condition is known as night blindness, and it's the classic early symptom of vitamin A deficiency.
Stage 2. Dry eyes. As night blindness progresses, the next symptom to appear is dry eyes. Vitamin A plays a key role in maintaining the tear film that protects the surface of your eyes. When you're deficient, the quality of your tears drops and your eyes dry out more easily. Maybe your eyes feel gritty when you wake up. Maybe they get itchy and tired after a few hours at the computer. Maybe your contact lenses suddenly feel uncomfortable. You might be brushing this off as just dry eye. But behind those symptoms, vitamin A deficiency could be hiding. And if left alone, your eyes will become drier and easier to damage.
Stage 3. Skin changes, that dryness you noticed. Now that other symptom I mentioned at the beginning, dry skin. Vitamin A plays a major role in renewing the cells of your skin and mucous membranes. In dermatology, vitamin A derivatives are even used as prescription treatments. That's how important it is for your skin. When you're deficient, skin renewal slows down, and you may notice your skin feels rough and starts flaking. Tiny bumps appear on your arms or legs, almost like permanent goosebumps. Acne takes forever to heal. Your nails crack more easily, and your hair loses its shine. You might be blaming this on aging or dry weather, but it could be a signal coming from inside your body. Stage 4. Weakened immunity. And here's another consequence you can't afford to miss: a weaker immune system. Vitamin A protects the mucous membranes, your mouth, nose, throat, and gut. These are your body's front line of defense against viruses and bacteria. When vitamin A drops, those defenses crack open. Maybe you've been catching colds more often. Maybe once you catch one, it lingers for weeks. Maybe your throat feels raw all the time. Maybe your stomach has been off. The World Health Organization has officially warned that vitamin A deficiency dramatically increases the risk of death from infectious diseases in children. And this is not just a problem in faraway places. A body with weakened mucous membranes becomes vulnerable to infection at any age.
Stage 5. When it becomes severe, your eyes can actually melt. What you've heard so far covers the early to mid-stage signs of vitamin A deficiency. So what happens if it's left untreated? When deficiency becomes severe, the surface of your eye, the cornea, that clear membrane in front of your pupil, starts to dry out, crack, and collapse. The medical term for this is keratomalacia. Literally, the cornea softens and dissolves away. And eventually, you go blind. This isn't ancient history. This isn't fiction. The World Health Organization reports that between 250,000 and 500,000 children lose their sight every year because of vitamin A deficiency. And about half of them die within 1 year of going blind.
I know, that was a lot of heavy information. But here's the good news. Vitamin A is actually one of the most accessible and easy to obtain nutrients in nature. And once your deficiency is corrected, most of the early symptoms can improve within just a few weeks to a few months. What matters is knowing what to eat and how to eat it. So let's get into the practical part. Foods rich in vitamin A. Vitamin A comes in two main forms in food. The first is retinol, found in animal-based foods. The second is beta-carotene, found in plant-based foods. Beta-carotene is essentially a precursor to vitamin A. Your body converts it into vitamin A only as needed, like a built-in safety mechanism. Let's look at the top sources from each group.
Among animal-based foods, liver is by far the king. Chicken liver, pork liver, and beef liver are packed with vitamin A. In fact, just 50 grams of chicken liver, about 2 to 3 skewers of yakitori, contains way more than what an adult needs in a single day. But because liver is so concentrated, this becomes important for a reason I'll explain in just a moment. Beyond liver, you'll also find vitamin A in eel, egg yolks, butter, cheese, and milk. Even just one egg at breakfast counts as a solid source of vitamin A. On the plant side, the stars are deeply colored vegetables. The classic example is carrots. It's no coincidence, the word carotene literally comes from carrot. Carrots are loaded with beta-carotene. A single medium carrot can easily cover your daily vitamin A needs. Other powerhouses include pumpkin, spinach, kale, sweet potato, and dark leafy greens. If a vegetable is deeply colored, orange, yellow, or dark green, it almost certainly contains beta-carotene. In fruits, look for mango, persimmon, watermelon, and cantaloupe. Those orange and yellow fruits are excellent sources.
Here's something most people miss. Vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin. It doesn't dissolve in water, it dissolves in oil, which means eating it with some fat dramatically increases how much your body actually absorbs. For example, eating raw carrots gives you some beta-carotene, but cooking those carrots in oil, studies have shown the absorption rate can jump several times higher. Some easy ways to take advantage of this. Sauté your spinach in olive oil. Add a small pat of butter to your pumpkin soup. Dress your salad with a real olive oil-based dressing, not a fat-free one. There's actually a popular saying that raw vegetables are the healthiest. For vitamin A, that isn't always true.
How much do you actually need? According to the USRDA, the recommended daily intake of vitamin A for adults is around 900 micrograms for men and 700 micrograms for women. And honestly, hitting that number is easy. 1 egg in the morning, a carrot-based dish at lunch, some sautéed spinach or roasted pumpkin in the evening. That's it. You're already there. No special superfoods, no supplements required. Just a few deeply colored vegetables with a little fat or egg or butter to help with absorption.
A word of caution, more isn't always better. But here's something important you need to know. Vitamin A is one of the few vitamins where taking too much can actually be dangerous. Water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C are simply flushed out in your urine if you take too much. But vitamin A is fat-soluble, meaning it accumulates in your body fat and liver. Taking too much over time can lead to headaches, nausea, dizziness, liver damage, and even weakened bones. The biggest culprit? Liver. Remember when I said 50 grams of chicken liver covers more than a day's worth of vitamin A? Flip that around and it means eating liver every day can easily push you into overdose territory. If you love liver, keep it to about once or twice a week. That's the safe sweet spot. And there's one more critical warning. If you are pregnant, or there's any chance you could be especially careful about animal-based vitamin A, like liver and eel. Health authorities, including the US FDA, officially warn that excess retinol can affect fetal development. The good news? Plant-based beta-carotene doesn't carry this risk. Because your body only converts what it needs, there's virtually no overdose concern. So leafy greens, carrots, pumpkin, you can enjoy these freely.
When to see a doctor. Don't diagnose yourself. Now, about all those symptoms we talked about, the blurry vision in the evening, the dry skin, the dry eyes, the frequent colds, these could be signs of vitamin A deficiency. But they could also be caused by something else entirely. Aging changes in the eyes, an underlying medical condition, hormonal shifts. There are many possible reasons behind these symptoms. So if your symptoms continue, or if you're feeling worried, please don't just change your diet and hope for the best. See a doctor. A blood test can actually measure your vitamin A levels, and a medical professional can help identify what's really going on, so you can take the right action, not just a guess. Listen to the signals from your body, but also lean on the expertise of those trained to interpret them. That combination, your awareness and their expertise, is the safest path to protecting your health.
Vitamin A was discovered more than 100 years ago by a man named Elmer McCollum, working in the basement of his college, feeding rats no one else wanted to study. That discovery has saved countless lives around the world, and it continues to quietly support our daily meals every single day. Blurry vision in the evening, dry skin, catching colds too often. If any of these small signals are showing up in your body, maybe tonight's dinner is a good place to start.
Vitamin A protects your skin and mucous membranes and supports healthy skin renewal from within. Add a little to your meals every single day. 1 carrot, a side of sautéed spinach, a single egg. You don't need anything fancy. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. On this channel, we'll keep bringing you the real, meaningful stories behind food and health. If this video was helpful, a like and subscribe would mean the world to us. See you in the next one.